To the great graveyard we are going today. To the great graveyard we are going today. To become a friend of Springwood Cemetery, you must call this number. You know what? I'm a friend of Springwood Cemetery, and I don't need to call that number. I'm already a friend. The city hustles and bustles, but here in the cemetery, all is ghostly still and silent. Since 1812, the Springwood Cemetery has guarded the names of those who have shaped this town. Men of power, soldiers of war, families whose legacies still resound in the names of the streets here. The marble is cracked, it's water damaged and worn. The letters are fading, but the stories, they remain. Beneath these mighty North American oaks, history doesn't feel far away. It feels present in the old graveyard. The Springwood Cemetery was established in 1812. This cemetery predates most of the city's major development. This gravesite is the state's oldest cemetery, operating since 1784. It spans roughly 30 acres and it holds over 10,000 graves, including many of Greenville's most prominent founders, leaders, and veterans. Some interesting facts you might find interesting, because they're interesting facts. How interesting! Well, the entrance gate that we just passed was built in 1914. It's made of Indiana limestone from the state of Indiana. Why do they choose limestone from Indiana and not local? I don't know why. Today, it seems like everyone wants to go local and be green. But instead, back in the day, they chose Indiana limestone. I found a Bonner at the gravesite. I found a Bonner, 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 Bonner. Everybody smiles 'cause they knew someone who had a friend named Bonner. Bonner. For you people, you juveniles out there that find this funny, you know, hopefully the YouTube algorithm finds it appropriate. But the last person's name is Bonner. I never thought I would find a Bonner in the grave. Everybody likes a Bonner. Everybody loves a Bonner. There's a lot of ornate cast iron wrought fencing that encloses many of these family plots. This fencing is supposed to guard the graves of the deceased. There are finials, grills, and spandrels with beautiful organic forms, which are visible. This fencing emphasizes exclusion, wealth, and protection. So these spandrels, wrought iron, and they protect each family plot from maybe supposed grave robbers, or maybe even spiritual grave robbers. These are them. These are the wrought iron spandrels that you can see. And it also delineates the difference between wealthy people and not so wealthy people. Well, whereas nowadays actually middle class and lower middle class and poor people can't even afford to get buried. So according to today's modern standards, really no one can really majority of the population cannot get buried at a graveyard. It's just how it goes. But so all these people were actually quite well to do compared to today's standards. Sadly enough. This place contains the remains of Civil War soldiers reflecting Greenville's deep Southern history and legacy. There's a well-dedicated monument here built for the soldiers who fought to protect their masters' agrarian rights, to drink mint julep tea, while chattel slaves worked their cotton fields. Yet these were different times. But believe it or not, presently, slavery is even more prevalent in our society today. It has just taken on different forms and disguises itself globally. Nevertheless, it's still here, and it gets virtually no media attention. This tree over here, behind me, is an eastern red cedar tree. Big juniper, also known as a cedar tree. They're related. Ain't that something? This burial site is also the final resting place of the grandson of Thomas Edison. I have no idea. I have no idea where his grave site is. But I do have an idea of who invented the light bulb. Thank you, dear grandfather, for giving us light, for allowing us to have bulbs, for allowing us to come up with great ideas. Thank you, dear grandfather. Anyways, the grandson Thomas Edison is buried here. If we look over here too, this is a crepe myrtle. You can tell because of the skin of the tree. Look at that. Look at that skin.
Put some lotion on it.
Crepe myrtle. The bark has a certain texture and color to it that is very distinct. From here on forth, you will be able to identify a crepe myrtle tree, I promise you. Here also we have an obelisk. Obelisks come from Egypt, so this technology, or this architectural form, is thousands of years old. My guess is the people that can afford an obelisk are extra ballers. They got a little extra cash in their pockets, but so if you look over here, this grave site. Look at these leaflets. Leaf embroidered stone sculpture. Obelisk. Now, with obelisks, I'm sure a lot of these people, or their grandkids, or great-grandkids, or great-great-great-great-grandkids, or great-great-grandkids, let's say, have probably pretty nice houses and homes in Greenville. This is a old money cemetery. But there are some paupers' graves. They have them too. And they also have slave graves. Slave grave. It almost rhymes. There's also the oldest burial here in all of South Carolina, or at least officially at an official graveyard in South Carolina. And that is by a Miss James Williams in 1812. Now Mrs. James Williams, that is about 214 years old. That is pretty old for a graveyard. I'm sure there's older ones around the world, but at least for the U.S. Oh, back to lichen. Some happy lichen, some happy lichen. I don't know if it's lichen or lichen, and I don't really care. But anyways, now I'm crossing the Fanny Heldman grave, 1862 to 1889. Her burial is marked by the white guardian angel, which we can see right up here. It's a statue. She's buried alongside her father George, and it is claimed that this grave is haunted. And we're going to find out today. She died at age 26 on January 1st, 1889, after drowning in the Reedy River, which is the nearby main river. This grave is a popular spot for local ghost tours. And the legend has it, she took her own life after her father rejected her marriage. How tragic. She took her own life after Daddy said, "No, you can't do that. No, you can't be with that man." And she said, "Goodbye. Bye-bye. I go bye-bye now." Wow, Daddy. What did you do, Daddy? Oh, the whole thing is Shakespearean. Heldman. See, 2 N's signifies German. 1 N signifies Hasidic, or Jewish, or Israeli. So now you know the difference between the last names. 1 N, Jewish. 2 M's, or 2 N's, Germanic. There are also 2,600 unmarked graves in the cemetery. This is where they would dump the bodies of slaves and the poor into the ground. Also, there is a claim that there is a woman in white who people have witnessed, and she walks the cemetery. She searches the grounds looking for her lost child. What was that noise? Oh my goodness. It does feel eerie here. It feels like there's something here and I can't quite figure it out. There's an energy here. Energy of the dead. But I tell you what, I am getting the EBGBs here. I'm getting a strange, ominous, foreboding sense. Don't know. The tip of the obelisk. Tip of the obelisk. This is just the tip of the obelisk, people. Just the tip of the spear. Because you know what? So many things happened before we were ever around. And we can barely comprehend. Even just a few hundred years ago. And yet it goes on way before that and way after. Amazing. At the Springwood Cemetery, we also have people who died in the 1918 flu pandemic. They're around here as well. I'm not sure what section of the grave, but they are here. And also, there's an international section here. And one famous Norwegian who made it to the cemetery is one seaman named Adolf Jensen, a seafarer from Norway who is buried here. As Greenville continues to grow, we see new buildings, new businesses, and new people. Places like this cemetery quietly remind us where it all started. Long before the bumper-to-bumper traffic, the skyline, and the gentrified craft beer bars, where bearded false progressive betas reside with their fake southern accents and their twirly facial hair and secret mommy and daddy trust fund accounts. Poe. I don't know if it's Edgar Allan Poe, but Poe is definitely a Poe is buried here. In fact, multiple Poes are. The history of the dead is written in ornate and ancient stone. Standing here, you realize a city isn't just streets and structures. It's people. Very dead people. Their past dreams and struggles and legacies are here for us to read. And they are engraved in stone. Birth and death to me is a total mystery. I don't understand it. If you can wrap your head around it, let me know. Let me know in the comments below. The secret to life and death. The secret to life and death. What is it? After the memories fade, where does it all go? The graveyard to me invites introspection, and it makes me ponder. The graveyard asks me this: what are we doing right now in the present moment? The only moment God gave us. Elliot. That's my last name. I wonder if we're related. T.S. Eliot. Wasn't he a writer? There's a lot of Elliots out there, but I think he was with one T. Lipscomb. This is a mighty magnolia tree. The mighty magnolia tree. Imagine being buried under a magnolia tree and its roots stretch out above your grave bed. My last name is Bull. Imagine that. Your last name is Bull. It makes me ask, are these people stubborn? Are they all Taurian? Or are they Spanish? Bull. I don't know. That plant tequila comes from. Agave. They get huge. And they produce tequila. Many agaves at a graveyard. Kind of cool. Being around all this death makes me feel introspective of my own life, but introspective of also the lives of all the people I've known in this existence. We have a Dr. Ben C. Jones, excellent dentist and sweet violinist, 1880 to 1966. Right when the 60s started happening, you had the peace and love movement and the psychedelic movement. It's when he passed away. Apparently he was a great violinist and a solid dentist. One thing I like about the East Coast, there's many things, but definitely one thing that stands out is that there's a lot of holly and ivy on the trees. One thing I noticed too is that these graves are from the turn of the century, from the 1800s. Some of them from the 1900s, but a lot of them, most of them, are from the 1800s. It's not a modern cemetery. The other cemeteries I've been to are newer and more taken care of. They have smoother marble finishes. You'll notice the stones are worn. They're water-worn, waterlogged, and they have a lot of green growing on them. And here we have someone who passed away at age 23 and his partner at age 28 in 1917. The areas that split one area from the other. In photography, it's a term that is called liminal space. This is the liminal space of where a parking lot and an ancient Civil War cannon meet a graveyard. And this is the gate that splits both of those spaces. At the old graveyard We are leaving here today. At the old graveyard, we've got Charles F. Hard. Charles F. Hard. You know, Charles F. Hard should have been buried right next to Bonner. That would have made more sense. I need to talk to the grave director here. I need to put in a request. I need to put in a complaint to the graveyard director. I want to have this gravestone dug up of Charles F. Hard and Ella Wilden, wife of C.F. Hard. Wow, 1942, right at the beginning of World War II. Anyways, I want their gravestone dug up and put next to Bonner. Hard should be next to Bonner. That makes perfect categorical sense by today's standards. Hard Bonner. It's a good combo. In fact, it's a great combo that creates life. If we didn't have that combination, I wouldn't be here, and this vlog wouldn't exist. So please, YouTube, understand that Hard and Bonner need to reside next to each other in a gravesite. Now, when I say Hard and I say Bonner, those are both the family names of the people who are buried here. It's nothing more than that. It's nothing else. So don't get any ideas. Now we're going into section N. Now this section N has more soldiers and more unmarked graves and graves of perhaps even poorer people. But it looks like if I continue here a little bit northeast, I'll get to poorer and soldier-esque types of graves. Watson gets his own mausoleum. He or she or both of them. Amazing. Theodore Albert Watson, MD, 1936 to 2012. Wow, it's when the Mayans returned, is when he passed away. Ionian Romanesque columns. Now, I always want to be careful and respectful not to step on the grave itself. You never do that, because that's the grave bed of the dead. That's where they rest. So you don't step on it, you step around it. When you're at a graveyard, the etiquette is this: don't step on this area here. You can step around it, because that's where, supposedly, the dead sleep. Power. That is an amazing last name. Imagine your last name is Power. Power. I like it. For everyone viewing, and including myself, I hope we all transition as painless as possible and into loving arms of some sort. The robins are out, and the mistletoe is also around. And in order to identify mistletoe, you just look up at a tree, like over there, and you see those little bushels, those little balls and bushels of green matter. That is mistletoe. Quite impressed with this graveyard. And did I feel any ghosts or spirits? Sure, I guess. But those spirits and ghosts reside within myself, within my own brain and mind and heart, soul, and spirit. Yeah. The real demons are inside. They're not outside. So my demon hunting exodus for the day is coming to an end. I wasn't able to find the ghost. I couldn't find her. I couldn't find her, and that's okay. Chasing ghosts here at Springwood Cemetery in Greenville, South Carolina. Ooh, look at the robins. The robins decided to hang out here. Maybe this is a good place where there are worms. It's nice, good, shallow earth that's still moist that maybe provides that. Now, robins, and a starling as well. Robins have a really cute hop to them, and they're also blackbirds. They're related to blackbirds, and also related to the Amsel, which is also a ground bird, a Grundvogel, the European blackbird, which Paul McCartney wrote a song about, as you all know. And if you don't, look it up, because it's really good. It's a really beautiful song. Even this smooth concrete obelisk from the 1800s eventually gives away with time, and it's no longer smooth. This is hilarious. So in the U.S., their signs are, I guess, apparently construction workers working on the roads and people doing maintenance for the roads. They get hit often enough for them to have signs like this: "Let them work and let them live." Let them work. Let them work. Imagine having have signs like that. People are, just when you're driving, look out on the road. Let them live. Let people live, because they're actually helping you with the road that you're driving on. They're helping you maintain that road. Ugh. That's terrible. Let them work. Let them live. Yeah, please do. Because if you don't let them live, and you don't let them work, then we can't live. We're all related. There are far, far better things ahead than we leave behind. That's pretty positive. I like that. C.S. Lewis. Can't go wrong with that. There are far, far better things ahead than we leave behind. I guess that man was forever an optimist. Always to look forward and ahead. I like that. Oof, August 97 to October 24th, 2022. That's young. Ooh, graveyard, I think, is... Maybe it's not possessed. Maybe it doesn't have spirits or ghosts or anything, but it definitely... it can be heavy. It can be heavy. Because you can start feeling feelings for other people, which is, I don't know how healthy that is. Or maybe it is. Maybe it's good to be sympathetic and empathic enough to put yourself in other people's shoes and maybe see how other people feel about people, their views and memories of those people. In memory, this girl was in her 20s probably when she passed away. In memory of a life so beautifully lived and a heart so deeply loved. A heart that was deeply loved. Long. Oh my gosh. This is interesting. Now we have a last name Long. I honestly think I am going to put in a request to whoever is in charge of this Springwood Cemetery. I'm going to put a request in and demand that the family of last name Hard and the last name Bonner and the last name Long, they all should be next to each other on different plots. It only makes sense. It only makes perfect sense that they hang out next to each other on these plots. Hard, Long, Bonner. You know, the graveyard invites introspection, as I said earlier, but also, too, it's a place where you kind of forget about your own pains and your own little worries that you have in your life. And it kind of gives you perspective of things. Kind of allows you to step out of yourself for a bit and kind of reassess where you are at life, which is healthy. It's good. So I recommend anyone, if you ever get a chance, go to a graveyard. Check it out. Walk around. See if it says anything to you. Fold them, O Father, in thine arms, and let them henceforth be a messenger of love between our human hearts and thee. Now we're entering some more liminal space. Here they are, going about their day-to-day in their regular routine. I identify moss. This is the liminal space here. You go from the living world to the dead world. Now my question is, how different are they? How different are they? Or are they more similar than different? Are they relatable? And if you integrate with one, can you therefore understand the other? Love that marble. Love the way it feels on your hands. The texture of the marble. And the crumply matter, organic matter that rests on the marble. And that's marble. That's like over 200 and something years old. None knew thee but to love thee. None knew thee but to love thee. It's some old language. It's some old language from the 1800s. Ooh. Last name is Rambo. Sylvester Stallone. An eastern cedar tree again. Related to the juniper. And juniper, the juniper berry can be eaten. Helps with inflammatory response. And also, gin is made through the juniper berry. So you can drink a lot of gin. Get pockmarked like Bukowski. Look like his nose and his face. If you drink a lot of gin. Betty Lou, 1934 to 1940. Wow. Betty Lou was only 6. Oh, I hear a magpie. Huh. Looks like they might be nesting because it is early spring. They're not even bothered by me. Magpies can be aggressive, believe it or not, especially in the spring when they're nesting, protecting their youngins. Tweety Miller Carter. Wow. Very unique. Oh, here we go. Little. Now, I'm going to make a request to the funeral director. We need to put these families together. Bonner, Hard, Little, and I forget now. What was it? Do you guys remember? What was the other last name that was appropriate for these families to have plots next to each other? It was Bonner. It's long. Little. Hard. Little Hard Bonner. And something else. I can't remember. But what I'm going to do when I'm editing is I'm going to look back and I'll put that name up here. Right here. And all four of those families should all have plots next to each other. And it could spell out something. And honestly, it would make people laugh. Because I think when you go to a funeral, which I've been to, and you go to a burial, which I've been to, and you go to a graveyard, what you want to do sometimes, I think a lot of people just want to be able to laugh. So we'll put those four family names together, and we'll make our own plot. And I think it'll bring a smile to everyone's face who watches this YouTube video. And YouTube, don't get any ideas. Don't take it down. Because these are just merely the names, the proud names, the proud last names of these family members who are buried here. Families Hardlong and Little Bonner, please report to gravesite D. Once again, families Hardlong and Little Bonner, please report to gravesite D. Thank you. Greatest drummer of all time. Greatest rock drummer. Debatable and arguably. Definitely one of them. But this isn't the band rush, this is the family rush. And now, we are on our way out of the graveyard. Dawn to dusk. From dusk till dawn. Watch all Quentin Tarantino movies. You youngins. You Gen Zs, you little zini boppers, you little zoomers. You got a lot of catch up to do. And not mustard, ketchup. And learn how to cuss. Wrought iron finials. These are them. These are the spandrels and the organic finials, also known as grills. Very ornate and beautiful. Victorian, Elizabethan, Victorian, classical. Probably one of the three. I'm most likely classical. If you get anything out of this video, here's a term, an architectural term. This Pilaster, and up here is a cornice. Cornice is where the top meets the bottom structure. Cornice. Pilasters and cornices. I just recently learned that term and I'm quite excited about it. Here's another cornice. That is a cornice. Classical, ornate structure, which is influenced by Greek architecture. This is the cornice. Cornice on the gate. Cornice on the gate of the Springwood Cemetery. 1914. Well, I hope you enjoyed yourself at Springwood Cemetery. I know I did. I'll see you next time. Same channel, same place. Join me on a great adventure. Today's been Springwood Cemetery, and it feels like it's about to rain. So with that being said, I gotta go back into the city. See you soon.